Welcome to Literary Insights. Are you an entrepreneur striving to balance a thriving business with a fulfilling personal life? Imagine having a guide that not only helps you grow a profitable, sustainable business but also ensures your well-being and community impact. In today's episode, we delve into Alex Brueckmann's transformative book, Secrets of Next-Level Entrepreneurs, 11 Powerful Lessons to Thrive in Business and Lead a Balanced Life. Join us as we uncover practical advice from industry leaders on sustainable practices, high-performance cultures, and self-care strategies. Ready to elevate your entrepreneurial journey and lead a balanced, impactful life? Let's get started. Pricing is an important profit driver that all companies, large and small, should focus on. However, small businesses often underestimate its power. Large companies are generally more sophisticated in their pricing approaches, but even they can benefit from a more focused strategy. The most important aspect of pricing according to the author is value. The fundamental equation is that price equals value, the value should determine the price. Value has different definitions: what the customer perceives they are receiving in exchange for payment, the profit value to the entrepreneur/company, and the value created for suppliers through payments or being part of a value chain. For pricing purposes, the only relevant definition of value is the value the customer perceives they are getting relative to the price paid. Getting this perception of value right is key to effective pricing strategy. In summary, the passage emphasizes that pricing is a major profit lever, especially if companies focus more on understanding and delivering the value perceived by customers, as perceived value should be the primary determinant of price. Both large and small companies can benefit from honing their pricing approaches in this customer value-centered way. To set the right price, companies must first understand the value drivers that are most important to customers and how their product or service delivers value relative to competitors. Value perception is key to pricing. Companies often leave money on the table by not differentiating prices. Understanding individual customer willingness to pay allows setting variable prices to capture more value and profit potential. Product and service differentiation can support price differentiation. Starting with a value-based approach to pricing is better than just adding a margin to costs. Testing different pricing strategies helps uncover what customers value and are willing to pay. The full profit potential is not captured by simply charging the highest possible price. Sharing value with customers can create loyalty and repeated business. Managing for long-term profit orientation is important as no company profiting went bankrupt. Price is the most effective profit lever, with a 10x multiplier on profit from a 1% price increase compared to 4x for volume and 6x for costs. A global assembly company was able to decrease average discounts from 16% to 14% without losing sales volume or customers. This small 2 percentage point increase in profit margins resulted in hundreds of millions more in annual profits. Profit killers include price wars, focusing only on revenue/volume/market share goals rather than profits, internal conflicts, wrong incentives, and neglecting costs. True profit is economic profit, which exceeds the cost of capital. Metrics like EBITDA can be deceptive. In times of high inflation, companies should protect real profits and not get blinded by phantom profits from rising nominal profits and costs. Price increases are easier, but watch for disproportionate rising costs. Currency fluctuations can add to or offset inflation risks for international companies. Cost increases need to be partially passed on to customers. The future of pricing will be driven by big data, AI to find unexpected patterns, and dynamic pricing tested through online price experiments and demand curve analysis. Small businesses should embrace these pricing tools. Here is a 3-paragraph summary. 3 key factors for pricing are experimenting with different pricing options, being competitive with other offers, and differentiating the product. It is important for companies to see what competitors charge for similar products. Differentiation is about more than just the product, it also includes communication and distribution channels. A good example of price differentiation is the Bahn card created by Simon Kucker and partner for Deutsche Bahn, the German railway company. The annual card costs around €500 and provides a 50% discount on all tickets for the year. This made train travel more competitive with driving by car. The Bahn card creates customer loyalty because users see it as getting their money back through discounted tickets. Pricing is moving beyond simply setting a price and is exploring multidimensional systems. Membership and subscription models consider both an upfront or recurring fee alongside product prices. Data-driven dynamic pricing continuously adjusts prices. The boundaries of pricing involve ethical questions around areas like healthcare and ensuring suppliers and customers are on a level playing field. The text discusses different approaches businesses can take to create sustainable value, including thinking circularly, reducing waste through recycling, reuse, etc., improving efficiencies in operations and production, and forming strategic partnerships. It emphasizes the importance of designing sustainability into business models from the beginning, through thorough assessments of value chains to identify areas for improvement. Key areas discussed include sorting processes into should-dos, high-impact areas to prioritize like procurement, energy use, could-dos, less important areas, and don't know how to do's, areas that require external expertise. Partnerships are presented as a solution to challenges businesses can't solve alone due to complex ecosystem factors. Collaboration allows shared responsibility and matching of complementary strengths between public, private, and nonprofit sectors. Overall, the passage provides frameworks and examples for businesses to think more holistically about creating value through sustainable, circular models of production and consumption with minimal waste and environmental impact. Strategic partnerships are positioned as an enabler for businesses to address sustainability challenges. Partnerships can help brands collaborate to solve sustainability challenges and create greater impact through shared strengths and resources. Examples given are Adidas x Parley and Nespresso x Zeta. When seeking partnerships, it's important to think about aligning goals and what value each partner can bring. Transparency is also important to gain stakeholder trust. Materiality assessments can help understand what ESG issues matter most to stakeholders. This provides guidance on sustainability priorities. Alignment with UN SDGs is important, but sustainability goals also need to consider stakeholder perspectives through open communication and problem solving. When communicating sustainability efforts, provide clarity on objectives, show consistency and deep purpose. Educate consumers on impacts in an engaging storytelling manner. The 3E model for impact outlines how to educate consumers, engage through touchpoints, and expand partnerships to create transformational change through open communication. The key message is that partnerships can accelerate sustainability goals when aligned, and transparency and communication are critical to gain stakeholder buy-in and support through a shared understanding of impacts and challenges. Disruption means creating more efficient solutions to resolve unmet needs, rather than just focusing on innovation for its own sake. Disruption makes people feel out of control and uncomfortable by shaking up the status quo and where people are situated. This creates confusion and uncertainty. As leaders of disrupted businesses and industries, it is important to help people find their place and how they fit in amidst the changes. Creating a sense of identity can help people embrace disruption. Charlene Lee shares 10 easy-to-apply rules for leading through disruption and cultivating the right environment for innovation. This includes embracing change rather than resisting it, questioning assumptions, empowering teams to experiment, and more. Successful disruptors like Netflix have shaken up industries by innovating and changing the status quo in transformative ways. Leaders must disrupt and innovate to resolve unmet needs in new, more efficient solutions. The key message is that disruption is inevitable, so leaders must embrace it, help people adapt, and foster an environment where teams can innovate and experiment with disruptive solutions that resolve customer needs in new ways. Leaders play a crucial role in guiding organizations through disruption. Streaming services like Netflix have disrupted the cable television industry by making it obsolete and changing how movies and TV are produced. The COVID-19 pandemic forced many companies to adopt work-from-home models out of necessity. This led to increased productivity and focus for employees working remotely. Many employees now prefer remote work, and some have left jobs that didn't offer permanent remote options. Adopting a disruptive growth strategy and identifying opportunities that others lack the confidence to pursue can help companies stay competitive amid constant change. Simply being innovative is no longer enough. Embracing disruption means accepting uncomfortable changes and breaking out of comfort zones. This allows small businesses to scale up, but often founders struggle with loss of control. Successful leaders continuously challenge themselves, their knowledge and comfort zones through learning, collaboration, and uncomfortable experiences. This disruption is essential for growth. Planning strategically for disruption involves devising scenarios and contingency plans over 18-month increments. Continually evaluating and refining detailed plans helps companies adapt and pursue their goals amid uncertainty. Engaging employees in reviewing and modifying strategic plans keeps companies agile and able to recognize opportunities for disruption in the workplace. Conscious decision-making is needed to embed disruption. Here are the key points about leading with conscious disruption. The leader prioritizes relationships and leads through inspiration rather than command and control. He involves employees in the strategy and decision-making process. The leader plans with the future in mind by considering various scenarios and how the market/landscape may change. This allows the strategy to flexibly adapt to disruption. The leader recognizes that power dynamics are shifting away from solely the C-suite. He embraces input from employees who are influenced by social media and want more say. The leader builds openness, trust, and healthy conflict. He listens to employee concerns and feedback to foster transparency and accountability. Conflict is seen as an opportunity rather than something to avoid. The leader scales leadership by giving employees agency and ownership over their work. He facilitates rather than gatekeeps decisions. The leader helps employees overcome resistance to change by setting goals, rewarding shifts in mindset, and accepting that not all goals will be perfectly achieved. The leader uses digital tools to further develop relationships even in virtual environments. The leader replaces perfectionism with a focus on excellence through risk-taking, learning from mistakes, and not requiring all data before decisions. The leader finds balance between imposing order/discipline around the process of change, while still embracing necessary contradiction and flexibility. The key is maintaining relationships, planning flexibly for different futures, broadening decision-making, building trust, embracing conflict as healthy, scaling leadership through agency, overcoming resistance to change, and balancing order with flexibility and adaptation. The article discusses 6 key components leaders can leverage to build a high-performance culture. Purpose: employees need to feel they are doing meaningful work and that their efforts are contributing to a greater goal or mission. Providing a clear sense of purpose is a strong motivator. Values: shared values unite a team and guide decision-making and behaviors. Leaders should clearly define the values that reflect their vision and recruit/promote employees who embrace those values. Behaviors: behaviors should be consistently aligned with the organization's values. Leaders establish expectations and policies that reinforce desired behaviors. Recognition: publicly acknowledging employees' contribution shows them their work is appreciated and boosts motivation. Recognition programs should reward behaviors tied to the company's values and purpose. Rituals: regular rituals like meetings, training sessions, or community activities help strengthen bonding and align employees with the company culture. Cues: visual cues like graphics, slogans, and employee spaces signal priorities and values to employees and outwardly. They help communicate and reinforce the culture. The article argues that leveraging these 6 components helps leaders facilitate a high-performance culture where employees are energized, aligned, and working towards common goals. Strong culture comes from the mutual relationship between leadership, management, and employees. To create purpose at work, employees need to understand how their role contributes to the company's overall goals and mission. They want to feel that their work is meaningful and has an impact. Some key ways to ensure employees have purpose include clarifying how each job role supports the bigger picture and relies on others. Provide organizational charts. Listening to employee ideas and allowing them to implement improvements when possible. This gives a sense of autonomy and control. Sharing the company's goals so employees understand where the business is headed in the short, medium, and long term. Embodying the company's values through leadership behaviors and cultural norms, not just writing them on paper. Values must be lived daily. Recognizing employee work publicly so they feel their efforts are appreciated. Recognition is a strong motivator. Demonstrating humility and admitting mistakes to build trust. Employees should feel comfortable providing feedback. Leading by example with a good work-life balance so employees don't feel expected to sacrifice personal time. The core message is that purpose comes from understanding an employee's contribution and seeing the company's values reflected in its leaders and culture on a day-to-day basis. This will keep people engaged and motivated in their roles. Recognition and rewards are important motivators for employees. Public recognition like Employee of the Month programs can help, but financial rewards like bonuses and promotions are often most meaningful. Recognition should be appropriate for the level of achievement. Top performers who are crucial to the company's success should receive higher levels of recognition and rewards. Corporate rituals help boost morale and foster collaboration between employees. Rituals can include casual dress days, company events, celebrating employee milestones, etc. Leadership cues, both verbal and nonverbal, guide employee behavior and priorities. Consistency is important so employees understand the cues. Cues from customers also provide important signals about their needs that employees should learn to recognize. Adapting to customer cues helps meet their needs. The pandemic has shifted work permanently to more remote formats. Leaders need to change how they view work and measure employees based on results rather than time spent in the office. Remote work has become a highly desirable work condition that companies need to adapt to. If you don't embrace remote work, you risk losing existing team members and facing difficulties hiring quality replacements. However, remote work opens up opportunities to build a global team not limited by location. You can more easily hire those with needed skills anywhere in your country or world. Some companies have used software to closely monitor remote employees, but this risks destroying trust and being seen as spying. Tracking productivity should not be the go-to solution. Focus on good hiring and policies instead. Meetings are often less necessary and more efficient remotely. Teams have found they can accomplish much without long in-person meetings. This productivity gain may continue even after returning to offices. As a leader, poor results may indicate a failure in leadership. It is your role to motivate teams, keep them engaged, and build collaboration. Check that leadership behaviors match the culture you want to create. The chapter discusses how to build an impact culture focusing on employees, customers, society, and one's own legacy. It emphasizes aligning business with values and social responsibility to positively influence communities and generations to come. The world of work is undergoing major transformations due to factors like the pandemic, aging workforce, emerging Gen Z workforce, and digital transformation enabling remote work. This constitutes what the author calls the transformation trifecta: the Great Resignation, an aging/emerging workforce, and the rise of conscious business. The Great Resignation refers to workers reevaluating their jobs and careers. Factors like ineffective leadership and toxic cultures are fueling this movement as employees push back. An aging workforce and skills shortage is an issue as baby boomers retire. Developing future-proof skills, especially leadership skills, is important to address gaps. Surveys show leadership skills are lacking. Younger generations expect companies to consider their social impact. Justice, equity, inclusion, and diversity will be crucial to business strategies. Traditional approaches no longer work. For business owners and leaders, the key is to focus on people, planet, and profit. Implement a socially responsible and conscious approach. Individual identity and purpose are important to foster inclusive cultures. Leadership mentality is more about mindset and impact than position or authority. Effective leaders focus on service, influence, and empowering others rather than power. Inspiring others through inclusion and empowerment leads to better outcomes than force or fear. Empathetic leadership builds engagement and well-being. Creating a sense of belonging and community is especially important in virtual and hybrid work environments. Traits like empathy, clarity, and relationship building are critical for leadership. Anyone can lead through their sphere of influence regardless of formal role. Future leadership will be more communal, humble, and focused on inclusion. Culture is shaped by leaders and consolidates habits over time. It's observable in behaviors, decisions, and what isn't tolerated. Both societal and organizational culture influence each other. Building culture is a key business strategy as it impacts performance, growth, and retention. Culture change requires understanding the current culture and focusing on consistent actions over time. Culture is not a program or perk, it emerges from leaders reinforcing behaviors. One person cannot change culture alone, it requires collective effort over the long term. Performative actions undermine real culture change. In summary, the passage discusses the importance of leadership mentality focused on service, empowerment, and community over position. It also defines organizational culture and emphasizes that meaningful culture change is a long-term process shaped by leadership actions, not programs. Unresolved conflict in organizations can be tremendously costly, both financially and in terms of employee morale and retention. It leads to lost productivity, increased absenteeism, and turnover. Research shows that the majority of employees deal with some form of conflict at work and spend significant time each week navigating it. However, very few receive proper training on conflict resolution. When conflict is not addressed constructively, it can escalate and damage company culture, client relationships, and financial performance over time. It creates an unhealthy work environment where people avoid responsibility and eventually quit. The case study example demonstrates how one unaddressed problem employee was able to sow division and negatively impact team dynamic (CS) and operations for over a year before being dismissed. This created an unnecessary burden. Having the right mindset about conflict is important. Viewing it as a skill that can be improved through learning and practice, rather than an innate trait, allows for more successful resolution. Organizations should focus on equipping employees with conflict resolution training and tools. If addressed proactively and constructively, conflict can actually be a positive force that surfaces different perspectives and leads to better outcomes. But it requires commitment from leadership to develop a system and culture for handling it appropriately. Unresolved conflict typically does more harm than good. Here is a summary of the key points on how to handle conflict from the provided information. Identify and challenge any limiting beliefs you have around your ability to handle conflict effectively. Beliefs like "I'll never be good at resolving conflict" can hinder improvement. Reflect on where your conflict beliefs came from, such as past experiences, and evaluate if they are still accurate or relevant. Be open to changing your mindset. See conflict as an opportunity rather than something to avoid. Address issues directly rather than letting resentment build up. Consider the other person's perspective and find collaborative solutions rather than taking an adversarial approach or feeling like you need to coerce the other side. Stay calm and avoid personal attacks even if you are frustrated. You can express your feelings respectfully. Be willing to acknowledge mistakes and make adjustments to your approach based on lessons learned from previous conflicts. Successfully resolving one conflict can increase your confidence. Strong relationships require work, and conflict is inevitable but can bring people closer together if addressed constructively rather than avoided. The goal is understanding, not winning an argument. Here are the key points from the passage. Tina initiated a difficult conversation with Stephen to discuss problems in their relationship and set clearer expectations. She framed it positively to avoid Stephen taking issues personally. Even if awkward, productive conversations can improve relationships by addressing issues. It's important to care about the other person and bring up difficult topics to solve problems. Facilitators visiting villages to end open defecation must be willing to discuss the uncomfortable truth, not just worry about upsetting people. Their goal is improving health, not making friends. When conflicts occur, such as with a frustrated prescription patient, it's best to learn more about the situation through curiosity rather than avoiding it due to fear or defensiveness. Criticism provides an opportunity for businesses like FedEx to learn how to improve service from customer feedback and regain lost accounts. Short-term discomfort can create long-term benefits. Lisa should have been honest with the guy from her urge rather than ignore him, to avoid greater conflict later. Direct communication is better than passive approaches that prolong issues. The key replacement beliefs are that initiating difficult conversations can be worthwhile and productive if done respectfully and with care for the other person, and that criticism provides an opportunity to learn and improve rather than something to be defensive about. Conflict is an inevitable part of relationships, so the healthy approach is to face issues openly and work through them collaboratively. Here are the key points summarized from the passage. Self-leadership is important for effectively leading others. If you can't lead yourself well, you won't be able to lead a team. In the past, the author struggled with paralysis by analysis as a perfectionist, getting stuck in details and wasting time/energy. He realized this mindset did not serve him well as a leader. He needed to shift his focus from just the trees to the whole forest. Leading oneself effectively means allocating time and energy intentionally, not getting bogged down in minutiae. The author discovered the power of self-leadership. By stepping into his power as a leader, he was able to shape his world and feel more fulfilled. Self-leadership is a continuous development process that requires improving over time and adaptability as life situations change. It's not something fully achievable but a path of growth. For perfectionists, the key is focusing more on progress than perfection and learning to be okay with imperfection and making mistakes at times. The passage discusses the importance of self-leadership and self-care. Effective self-leadership involves understanding your strengths, having clarity of purpose, and taking decisive action. It requires an inner journey of self-awareness by taking responsibility, uncovering your beliefs, and revisiting your personal narrative. Self-care is an essential part of self-leadership. You cannot fully lead others without first taking care of yourself. The passage recommends practicing mindfulness through slowing down and using techniques like stopping to observe your thoughts and feelings. This helps avoid operating on autopilot and make decisions more consciously. The passage then discusses how these principles of self-leadership and self-care apply to building effective teams. Teams need maintenance periods to recharge and prevent burnout from constant high performance. They must also be able to embrace change, build trust, and develop key competencies like resilience, emotional intelligence, adaptability, and learning agility to face new challenges in a battle-ready way. Committing to continuous learning and improvement prepares both individuals and teams for future success. The passage discusses the importance of leading oneself and having emotional intelligence in order to create a balanced life that is fulfilling. It argues that the typical notion of work-life balance is misguided, as work should be considered part of life rather than separate from it. Developing humility and courage through self-leadership is key. Leaders must be willing to admit what they don't know and learn from others. While humility may seem like a weakness, it actually allows one to remain calm and open to new perspectives. Authentic leadership that owns mistakes and shows humility will resonate more with others. The impact of one's self-leadership extends beyond the team. Communicating an inspiring purpose and creating a brand with a meaningful impact generates loyal customers and supporters. Companies like Chobani that champion important causes through strong, values-driven leadership can create far-reaching ripple effects. To build a balanced life by design rather than default, one must develop the 4 emotional intelligence skills of self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Gaining self-awareness through reflection is important for self-leadership. Balancing different domains of life, recharging, and finding fulfillment in work takes designing one's life intentionally rather than passively accepting imbalance. The passage discusses emotional intelligence and achieving work-life balance as an entrepreneur. It states that self-actualization, one of the emotional intelligence skills, is key to balancing work and personal life. It recommends entrepreneurs strengthen their emotional intelligence, especially in managing emotions like stress, fear, and anxiety. Paying attention to how specific emotions impact them can help entrepreneurs gain self-awareness. Big emotions should not dictate major decisions. To achieve self-actualization and balance, the passage instructs drawing a circle representing oneself surrounded by other circles of meaningful aspects of life, like family, hobbies, etc. This exercise helps identify things draining time and energy that are not truly meaningful. Balancing efforts between work and meaningful personal elements is said to fuel happiness and fulfillment as an entrepreneur. Maintaining this balance through self-awareness and emotional management is presented as important for long-term success and well-being. The passage discusses the importance of self-actualization and focusing on what is truly meaningful to an individual, rather than simply pursuing social obligations or what others expect. It emphasizes conducting compassionate self-reflection to understand one's authentic values and priorities. Some key points. Self-actualization involves clearing away non-essentials to focus on what one truly values. This puts one in a state of high functioning. People often feel pressured to prioritize things like relationships or careers just because they feel they're supposed to, not because they are meaningful. Compassionate self-inquiry can help uncover what one truly wants and believes, free from judgment. This process applies to business as well. We should ensure decisions align with personal goals and values rather than just social/public expectations. It discusses recognizing and overriding unhealthy self-criticism and judgment. Provides exercises to identify fulfilled versus unfulfilled personal circles and ways to better fulfill the latter. Balancing self-reflection with valuing others' input, but not letting others override one's authentic priorities. The overall message is about the importance of self-actualization through defining what is truly meaningful beyond social pressures, and ensuring one's decisions align with that. Self-awareness is key to transformation and acting intentionally. Without understanding oneself, including preferences, talents, values and tendencies, it's impossible to act purposefully. Most people overestimate their level of self-awareness. In one study, 95% said they were self-aware but only 10% were actually in agreement with how others viewed them. This shows how little awareness most have of not knowing themselves. Self-awareness is especially important for entrepreneurs and business owners. Without clarity on oneself, it's difficult to assess if a business opportunity is a good fit. An example is given of a friend who disliked his career as a doctor, which he chose due to parental pressure, not his own interests. Through coaching, he gained the courage to leave medicine and start his own coaching business for burned-out doctors, which he finds far more fulfilling. This shows how self-awareness is necessary to make intentional career and life choices that align with one's values and passions, rather than living unconsciously or doing something just to please others. Transformation starts with truly knowing oneself. The passage discusses the importance of holistic self-awareness for success in life and business. It argues that lacking self-awareness can lead people to make poor decisions and remain stuck in ineffective habits. It uses the metaphor of a wagon with square wheels to represent struggling with problems that have obvious solutions right in front of us, if only we were aware of them. A model called the Personality Development Factors Model is presented, which shows that our personality is shaped both by our innate nature and our nurture/environment. Personal/entrepreneurial style refers to our natural preferences and tendencies, which remain consistent over our lifetime. Personality is more flexible but includes our style. Research shows only 30% of people truly understand their own style, which impacts stress levels, relationships, and goal achievement. Self-aware people are more likely to succeed. To be truly self-aware requires understanding how our style influences our choices, strengths, limitations, and whether our role/business is a good fit or hinders us. This allows maximizing strengths and limiting weaknesses. So in summary, the passage argues that holistic self-awareness of our innate nature, environment, and personal style is critical for success, decision-making, and avoiding ineffective habits. Lacking this awareness can keep us pushing square wheels. Here is a summary of the key points about mental and emotional wellness levels. Mental and emotional health issues can often be prevented or better managed if people regularly check in on their self-awareness, stress levels, and what may be contributing to their conditions. Areas to consider for wellness. Self-awareness include distress symptoms, interpersonal stress, nutrition/lifestyle factors, time stress, and occupational stress. Assessing these areas allows one to identify potential root causes of issues. Self-worth is an important dimension of wellness that impacts engagement, resilience, and happiness. High self-worth provides confidence and belief in one's abilities and right to achieve success. Self-worth levels can vary between situations and are learned. Environmental systems like family, schools, communities, and social/cultural groups influence personality development from a young age. Experiences within these systems can shape mindsets. Social teachers like family members can function as significant role models who influence personal values. Values provide fulfillment and motivation, so understanding one's top values and how life represents them is important for well-being and decision-making. Regular self-reflection supports maintaining high wellness levels. The input we allow into our lives through family, culture, media, etc. greatly influences our values and behaviors. Growing up on a dairy farm taught the author the value of hard work. Role models and social learners like family, teachers, coaches shape us indirectly from a young age. Media can also impact children's development positively or negatively. Emotional anchors are intense experiences that profoundly impact us, for better or worse. The author's near accident in a silage wagon made them safety conscious. Their 4-H speaking experience inspired a career in communication. Spiritual beliefs and perspectives deeply influence our choices and satisfaction in life, whether religious or not. True fulfillment involves understanding our relationship with spirituality and determining its role in our lives. Other factors mentioned as influencing personality development include peers, employers, historical figures, celebrities as role models. Self-awareness involves honestly assessing the influences we expose ourselves to. The model is meant to aid holistic self-understanding, which then allows for self-management and mastery over behaviors and choices to live purposefully. Spirituality is positioned as highly influential to inner peace and life fulfillment. The author had an extremely challenging few months where he was founding a new business, supporting his girlfriend through a difficult pregnancy, and coping with his father's terminal cancer. He felt constantly overwhelmed trying to balance all these responsibilities. When his father passed away, his son was also born 2 weeks later. He was experiencing immense sadness, grief, and joy all at the same time. 8 weeks later, they moved from Germany to Canada at the start of the COVID-19 pandemic. Sitting reflecting, he realized he had somehow made it through the last few months without a total mental breakdown. He wanted to share 4 mindsets that helped him overcome these challenges. Dropping the fear of missing out, FOMO, and focusing on the joy of missing out, JOMO, by defining clear priorities and goals. Shifting from perfectionism to speed by focusing on getting started with an 80% complete strategy rather than trying to make it perfect. Embracing emotional agility to adapt plans quickly when faced with unexpected changes, like when they had to hastily change their move plans due to the pandemic. Finding meaning and purpose even in difficult times helps maintain positivity and motivation. Facing challenges with love and wisdom can help you grow in unexpected ways. In summary, the author stresses the importance of mindset over skills, and shares how specific positive mindsets helped him successfully navigate immense personal and professional hardships. The pandemic required adapting emotionally to stay mentally sane. Being emotionally agile allowed coping with the immense challenges. One family packed up and moved to Vancouver with speed and flexibility, prioritizing the essential over perfection. Embracing an abundance mindset rather than scarcity helped overcome losses. Abundance opens one's mind to new possibilities and creativity. It also aided in starting a successful business during difficult times. A growth mindset facilitated fatherhood challenges and adapting to a new culture in a new country. It frames failures as learning rather than limitations. Together, these mindsets of JOMO, abundance, agility, and growth empowered managing business and family demands during crisis. They transformed hopes into reality through focus, option finding, and continuous improvement. Shifting perspectives enabled opportunities that a fixed mindset would have missed. This passage expresses gratitude to the editors, agent, publisher, and others who helped bring a book to life and take it to the next level. Editors play an important role in improving the flow, conciseness, and practical examples in a book. Their careful edits can make a story significantly more cohesive and enjoyable for readers without being noticed. Specifically, the author thanks editor Ristana Petrovsky for shaping chapters that each felt like a full meal and for her relentless support and commitment to the project. Agent Sam Hyade is thanked for resources and doors open to help get the project started and finished. Jenny Wright is thanked for writing/editing work, marketing genius, and vision beyond the book. Wiley is thanked for believing in the idea and making it a reality. Guest authors who contributed are thanked for unique perspectives. In summary, the passage expresses deep gratitude and appreciation to the editors, agent, publisher, and others who contributed greatly to bringing the author's writing project to successful completion and helping take it to the next level through their efforts. Their behind-the-scenes work enhanced the book in important ways.